Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Not so instant reaction because I was actually out watching the game somewhere else rather than at home. So I've had a chance to calm down, but it's still not, it still doesn't, I'm still angry over that performance. 30-6 loss to the Houston Texans. Just the highlights of it all just sort of illustrate just how bad things were. 139 rushing yards allowed, something that Mike Tomlin did acknowledge in his press conference, and I'll touch on that later. 111.2 quarterback rating allowed for a rookie quarterback, and whilst he has looked good, and whilst he is probably the front runner for offensive rookie of the year at this point, still you got to do better with a rookie quarterback when you're going up against him, especially when you're going up against the makeshift offensive line, which I mentioned. But 0 sacks, 3 tackles for loss on 30 pass attempts just shows that this was not a good performance all round. What you want to say about the offense has pretty much been covered already before. But for this defense, for what they have done in previous parts of the season, that is just an abysmal performance that you want to put in. This team is going nowhere if you perform like that. We were given a golden opportunity for, I know there's the hyperbole around like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith would have been setting sack records or everything against a bit of hyperbole, but to come out of that with 0 sacks, something is incredibly wrong. I think the whole performance does need to start with the defensive side of the ball. As I said, 139 rushing yards allowed. So the Mike Tomlin acknowledged in his press conference, and they have to change that because when we have the Baltimore Ravens coming into town next. If we can't stop the run against the Baltimore Ravens, they are going to put 40 on us. I do not think that's an exaggeration. With the teams they have and the weapons that they have and the running game, and with Lamar Jackson, who's I had my doubts about what he'd be able to do with his second injury in the space of 2 years, but he's shown that he's back to being Lamar Jackson. So if we cannot stop the run in a game like today, what are the Ravens going to do to us? So we have to make changes, and Mike Tomlin did acknowledge that. He sort of ended his press conference with the phrase, "Hell yeah, we got to make changes." I'm assuming I don't necessarily see that as we've got to make wholesale changes, with Matt Canada gone and all that sort of stuff. I think that's more changes systematically more than anything, because there was a lot wrong today. But I'm not going to put every single thing on Matt Canada. I want to talk perfectly to the 4th and 1 that sort of more or less put the game out of reach. I personally know we were down by 10 at that point. I'd have gone for a field goal. Take what you can. You don't need to be too aggressive yet. Kick the field goal. But on top of that, Kenny Pickett's got to make a better play. So whilst we rail on Matt Canada, as I've said before, there is a lot, it's not all on him. The players themselves and the coaches themselves, everyone has to take accountability for what is going on. And that is just simply not happening at the moment. Again, I don't want to go too long about this, because it's pretty obvious that there are holes, and for a team that is as talented as this group is, whilst there are injuries to Cam Hayward, how big a difference can he make on the defensive side of the ball? Whilst there are obviously mitigating circumstances, there's no way that it's just down to those. It is a collective effort, and everything seems to be going wrong at that point. Don't expect many changes. Again, don't make many wholesale changes right out of the gate. I think the change is more likely, if we are going to make a big change, it will probably come in and around the bye week, just to give whoever the new guys are a chance to give them 2 weeks effectively to work with what they've got and try to fix a few things. But yeah, just overall embarrassing performance. There is no way that this team should have lost to the Houston Texans. Don't get me wrong, the Texans were very good in what they did. They, as Mike Tomlin mentioned, part of the reason why we didn't get many sacks was they ran the ball effectively. So you took the edge pass rushers out of the game effectively. But even so, still on 30 pass attempts, 0 sacks. Something was definitely wrong on that. So something's clearly wrong. So big changes have to be made. They're not going to be made this week, but let's just hope that the minute changes that they do have to make are effective enough to beat the Ravens. Otherwise, I can see this season, whilst it was always going, whilst it started off a bit rocky, everything that is going to go downhill, very quickly. And I know I'm not going to be one that's obsessed with the Mike Tomlin no losing season record, but if we don't show a marked improvement against the Baltimore Ravens, there is a distinct chance that record is going to go. And I'm also not going to say that one losing season means Mike Tomlin is gone, but it does then probably raise a lot of questions as to what the long term vision of the team is, because there are going to need to be some big changes going on moving forward if this is what the product is and what we've had in the past couple of years.